Hey folks, welcome back to Hanbleceya Ranch. My name is Jason, and along with my wife Jen, we left Chicago in 2021, came out here to the beautiful state of Maine, where we have been carving out our own off-grid homestead. So a few days ago, we released a video where we exposed a few of our bigger mistakes, things that we would have, if given the opportunity, we would probably do a little bit different. In that video, one of the things that I considered a mistake was buying a bunch of useless crap, buying a trailer to put that stuff into, and then, oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? I got a baby dragonfly on me. Huh. We're going to leave him there. We'll see how long he hangs out with me. That's kind of cool. We bought a trailer. We filled it up with a bunch of crap that we bought in preparations for coming out here. We had that trailer for a couple years back in Illinois, and man, I bought everything. I bought all kinds of crap that I thought we were going to use, and the majority of the stuff we didn't use. But it did inspire some conversation about what are some of the things that if we could do it again, what would we bring? And so in this video, I'm going to talk about that. But before we get into that, there's a few projects that we have going on that I want to share with you folks. These are going to be coming up here soon. We've got our lumber for the front porch that we're going to be building right here. Now, I still have plans to build that as soon as my garage is done. Which, by the way, we will be putting out an update here probably in a few more days on the garage. We've made a lot of progress on it, and I cannot wait to share that with you. But yeah, this is going to be the next big project, so I'm looking forward to that. Hey, you little guy. You're just going to take a walk with us, huh? That's so cool. So another thing I wanted to say before we get started is that we had Bonnie and Clyde. They were a pair of hummingbirds, and they had babies. We had a whole bunch of adolescents, and it looks like they're all gone except for one of the offspring. One of the adolescents is still here, but the rest of them, the Bonnie, Clyde, and the gang, they're all gone. At least we haven't seen them in the last couple of days. So I'm thinking that they have started their migration to South America. So I think that's where they end up going. But okay, so another project we're going to be working on real soon is we got a culvert to replace the culvert that's damaged down on our road. So we're pretty excited about getting that done. I've already started getting the area prepped with gravel. I've got a neighbor coming down here in a couple days, and we're going to dig out the old ones. There's two metal ones. So we're going to get those dug out of there, and then get this nice 18-incher brand new one in there. And by the way, if you're looking for culverts, holy crap, are they expensive. I had no idea how much they were, but I mean, we bought this one here, I think was $476. Jesus. But, once we get it installed, we don't have to worry about the culvert, and we won't have to worry about water pouring over this road here. So, uh-oh. Looks like he just took off. I heard him. It was kind of a flutter. So, going back to this video, it is a little different than normal. I've done a few of these, more kind of informative ones. We're going to kind of just stick to the same script, I suppose. I had to write everything down, though, because I can't possibly remember all of this. Now, before we get started with what I think somebody who, if I had to do this again, quit our jobs, move out to someplace, and, the preparations for that, this list here is probably what I would focus on in terms of getting prepared. Now, my list is going to be different than somebody else's list. My list is because I moved out to the woods here in Maine. There are certain things out here that we need to use that you may not need, say in the desert, or say someplace else that's where you're not living literally in the woods. The other thing is this assumes that you're doing this on a budget, meaning you're trying to do the best you can with what you have, which is what Jen and I did. So a lot of, during the preparation stage, you're going to be going through a lot of videos, possibly reading books, with one real goal in mind, is to gather as much information as you possibly can to prepare yourself for once you finally make the move to your piece of property. Now, again, this is completely dependent on your area. This list may change. The other thing, this list may change as well because you're buying a piece of property that already has a homestead on it, and all you've got to do is manage it. Or you've got all the buildings on the property, and all you got to do is come in and do a little bit of repairs or extensive repairs. But there's already an established homestead, if you will. This list is mainly for coming out to the woods and carving out your own, homestead. So just keep that in mind as I kind of go through these. Some of these, will probably be no-brainers. Others might have you scratching your head, and that's fine. This is my list, if I could do it again, knowing what I know now. So, all right, well, let's get started. So first and foremost, new is not always better. Some things are fine used, and if you're going to be looking for some of these things, there are some stores that you can look at. Goodwill, secondhand and thrift stores are great places. If you are familiar with online auctions, and I'm not talking about the eBays, but there's online auctions that you can go to, proxy bid. There's another one, I can't think of the name of it. Garage sales, estate sales, and my favorite is the Restore, which is an offshoot of Habitat for Humanity. So a lot of the stuff that we brought with it. Boy, do I have this little bug that keeps flying in my face. The Restore was my favorite store above all other stores. If you have one in your area and you've never been to it, go. I mean, we've been to Restore in 5 different states, and they're all basically the same. They have incredible deals on building supplies, building materials, raw material. I mean, you name it, they have it. And we bought a lot of shit from Restore, and it was just a great place to get stuff from. So I'd highly recommend it. Okay, so let's go through the actual list now. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind are tools, albeit power tools, hand tools, garden tools, rakes, saws, screwdrivers. I mean, anything you can get your hands on, you'll probably end up using in one way, shape, or form. Hand tools are great because you can get them at garage sales and estate sales. You can get them at Goodwill. You can get toolboxes at the same types of stores. And then garden tools. I mean, every garden tool that we have here on our homestead, we bought at a garage sale back in Illinois and brought with us. Matter of fact, no, I think we have one item that we've bought since we've been here. Everything else we've bought before we came up here. And I have a very simple rule. 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is best. And when it comes to gardening tools, that is really something to live by, because it's very easy to break tools when you're out here and you're really using them. So having a couple of one thing of a rake, shovels, and things like that is not going to hurt you. All right, so another thing, and this is not in any order or anything. It was literally me just jotting down some thoughts. So for us here on our homestead, fencing is huge. So we had purchased probably, I think we brought with us about 150 to 200 T-posts. and well over 2,000, say, well, about 1,000 feet of fencing, of the braided fencing, and then another 1,000 feet of chicken wire. I think 300 or 400 feet of hardware cloth. All things that we purchased in Illinois on the cheap and brought with us, here to Maine. Obviously, if you're using T-posts, you got to have, you want to get yourself one of those T-post hammers, the bangers, and those you can pick up at garage sales and things like that. So some of the bigger ones, generator, obviously you're going to need that if you're going to be off-grid. An auger. Now the reason an auger is on my list is because we put a lot of cedar posts in the ground, and we do tend to put a lot of posts in the ground in general, not just for the fencing. And so having an auger for me worked out great. Now, I have a gas auger, but I also have 3 of the hand post diggers. And they're 3 different sizes. I think it's 6, 8, and 10 inches. So, or maybe it's 4, 6, and 8 inches. I don't know. But I have one of each size. So, it goes back to having, as many tools as you could possibly get your hands on, because you'll probably end up using them. Chainsaw and the spark plugs, extra chains, and the toolkit specifically for your chainsaw. Now the reason I add those on there is simply because online auctions, the Restore, you can usually find stuff like that for really good deals. Another good way or another good place to source some of this stuff is Walmart. In the off season, or as the season is starting to close, a lot of times they'll put stuff on clearance. It's a great time to pick some of this stuff up, when you're still working and you still have a really good income. So the next thing is, at least for us, was a no-brainer, and that was canning supplies. Now we did a video, one of our first videos, it was about the number of ball jars that we had collected back in Illinois. We bought ball jars everywhere we could find them. Anywhere we could get our hands on, we would. The big thing about ball jars is making sure that whatever ball jar you're looking at, that you check the rim and make sure there's no chips in it. If there's a chip in it, it's no good. Don't use it. Don't buy it. I think we were paying like 25 cents or 50 cents a jar at Goodwill. And, we brought with us probably around 850 jars, I think. And I don't think that's going to be enough once we are like full on self-sufficient, but we'll see, we'll see. But ball jars definitely. And then also the lids, if you can get those on sale, get them in bulk, get them on online auctions or at the Restore, anywhere you can find them for the cheap. Stock up on those because they do get expensive. Shelving, we couldn't bring enough shelving. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story on how we got our shelving. I think we brought with us 8 or 9 of the metal shelving racks that you build, and you put the shelves on. And we went to an estate sale. They had they had all of these shelves in the basement and in the garage. And I went up to the owner, or to the person who was hosting the estate sale. I said, look, at the end of the estate sale, would you sell all of your shelving units? And we agreed on a price. And a few days later, I came by with my trailer, and we tore down all the shelves. We put all the shelves in the trailer. And those shelves are the same shelves that you see in all of our videos whenever you see a shelf. Every shelf we got from, we brought with us, because, again, shelving is expensive. If you can get it on, cheap, then I would definitely implore you to do that. Shelf brackets, water jugs, fuel cans, any size PVC pipe you can get on at any lengths, any scrap metal that you can get, scrap plates, metal plates or anything like that, duct tape, electrical tape, nails and screws. For us, I mean, at the Restore, I bought so many screws, and I am still using those same screws today. And to give you an example of the pricing and this is just one box of screws that we have It was 5 pounds of 3-inch screws. We paid $25 for, and I think it was like 3 or 4 times that when we checked when we moved up here. So another thing, oil filters and oil for any vehicles or equipment that you have. I was buying stuff on clearance, and I was also buying it at the restore whenever I found it there, simply because, again, it was cheaper and it was easy for me to bring up here, and I would do that again because that is one thing that we will always use. Rope and cable. Any size rope you can find in any quantity, get it. You're going to need it in one way, shape, or form. You'll certainly use it. And then also cable. I mean, we've used cable for quite a few different things. You just never know, but it's better to have that type of stuff secondhand than trying to go to the store to buy a brand new. The next one is kind of a general, but it's hardware, and I mean any hardware. Doors, handles, oh my gosh, just hardware. You know, washers, nuts, bolts, any type of, you know, fasteners, anything like that. I would definitely bring it. Tarps, hunting and fishing gear, and a big one for me is pooper scoopers. You know, we've got dogs, and we don't want to have, you know, poop in our yard. So I was on an online auction, and I think we bought like 8 or 9 of them, and I think we paid like 50 cents or $1 for them. And yeah, so if you can get yourself, you know, quite a few pooper scoopers, if you've got dogs, might as well load up if you can get them for the cheap. And then the last one, which is a big one for me, is boots. So if you have a good pair of boots and you like the pair of boots that you have, and you have an opportunity to buy a couple of pairs of them, well, then in my book, buy them. It's worth it. I like Wolverines. I bought an extra pair of Wolverines when I was still in Illinois. They had gone on sale. I think we got like $40 off. Funny thing about that particular style boot is when we got here, my pair of boots were worn. I couldn't find my other pair, so I went to the shoe store here in town, and I think they wanted like $185 for a pair of boots that we paid maybe 50 bucks for. So having that, you know, inside, well, needless to say, I did find that pair of boots. But so yeah, I mean, those are the types of things that I would, if I had to do it again, that's probably all I would buy, simply because those are items that, number one, you can find secondhand, and number two, you're going to use. All right, well, it is getting late, and I know that there was a lot of conversation about items that you know, we would bring in. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick, you know, list of stuff that we would use or we would bring with us if we had to do this again, as opposed to just going shopping, finding a bunch of crap, saying, oh man, I might use that, and then never using it. So, all right, well, I hope you folks enjoyed the video. I'm going in. It seems like some bugs are coming out because I'm getting attacked left and right. Stay tuned for those other videos because they'll be coming out here shortly. And we'll see you folks on the next video.